200 million people in the United States, 20 million of them are not going to be your customers. Most of them are not going to be your customers. You got to do a better job of getting closer down, more tight with an actual possibility of a real audience interested in your brand. My number one strategy over the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years already, has been to get top of the funnel audiences with the lookalike method. Lookalike of ads to cart, lookalike of purchasers, lookalike of people that send me messages on Messenger. Why? Because Facebook is going to find people that are likely to message other companies. Lookalikes of my customers, lookalikes of my top website visitors, the top 10% website visitors, lookalike of all these people that are watching videos. For example, top of the funnel audiences, lookalikes of my video watchers is some of the best audience out there. Because now you grab the data that Facebook has about people that are consuming content on video, and you tell Facebook, hey, here's my seed audience. These are the people that like to consume my marketing videos. Can you help me find people that are more likely to also be interested in consuming my marketing videos? And off you go. All you got to do now is create some ads for that and select your objective. You want to select Messenger. You want people to download your freebie. Do you want to get people to visit your website? Do you want to get people to just consume your videos? So you can have bigger audience that you can now retarget. What is it that you want to do? When you select the lookalike audience of your custom audience, now you have a much broader audience that you can actually target to bring in through the top of your funnel. That's basically how you find a top of the funnel audience. So out of the 3 audiences on the Facebook world, we got the core audiences, we got the custom audience, and we got the lookalike audience. Two of them are going to be top of the funnel. Which ones are those 2 audiences? Core audiences, aka Facebook's data, and also lookalike audiences, aka your data match with Facebook's data. Does that make sense? Your data is being connected with Facebook's data to create a pocket of people that is likely to engage with your message and your brand. One thing that I'm going to tell you about this, because you're going to encounter this, is there's going to be a slider when you create a lookalike audience that goes from 1% all the way to 10%. That basically means what percent of the population you're trying to reach that is the most likely to be connected with your brand. So for example, in the United States, the percent of the population that is actively using Facebook is about 220 million people. It's a lot of people, right? So if you do 1%, the audience is going to be 2 million people. If you do 10%, the audience is going to be 20 million people. It's just simple mathematics, right? Now, the one thing to keep in mind about this is, what do you think is going to happen as the audience gets bigger and bigger and bigger? If you do a 1% lookalike, that is the tightest probability, the highest probability of having an audience connected with your brand, with your message, and like your customers or like the people important to you. If you have a 10% lookalike audience, then we're talking about a 20 million people audience in the United States, which is less likely, way less likely and broader than that 1% lookalike audience. So you go from 1% to 10%. It depends on how fast you want to get there and how much your budget is, how much your marketing budget is. If you have a small budget, let's say that you have a $100 a day budget or even $1,000 a day, I wouldn't go anywhere above the 1 to 2% lookalike audience. Why? Because you want to make sure that you communicate to the right people. Don't go into a very broad audience. Out of 200 million people in the United States, 20 million of them are not going to be your customers. Most of them are not going to be your customers. You got to do a better job of getting closer down, more tight with an actual possibility of a real audience interested in your brand. And having somewhere between the 1 to 2 to 2.5 million range is a large enough audience for you to invest $1,000 a day and see right away, or $100 a day. Or if you're not at that level and you're trying to invest, just get going and invest $10, $20 a day. That's more than enough. Ourselves, we do about $25,000 a day every single day across a few of our brands. So we do a lot of investing on Facebook ads right now. So some of our strategies are broader, meaning that we go after 10 million people, 15 million people, because we want to get effects faster. And we also want Facebook to distribute our message at a much faster pace overall. So we go more aggressive. But if you want to find a more tight audience that is likely to engage with you, make sure you keep it between the 1% to 2%. Again, if you do a 2% in the United States, that's going to be like a 4 to 5 million audience. It's going to be a pretty big one. If you do a 1%, it's going to be a 2 to 2.5 million audience. It's 1% of the total audience in the country. If you're in Australia, let's say that it's 30 million people that are actively using Facebook in Australia. Well, the 1% audience, it's going to be several 100,000 people. It's going to be about 300,000 people, right? That's just simple math. I hope that that's correct. I think it is. It gives you an idea, right? So if you want to target, instead of 30 million people, you want to find out a specific audience to target, then you do the 1% lookalike and you got 300,000. If you want a broader audience because you think that your audience is going to be more interested and you have an audience that is not that niche, then maybe you want to expand it to a 2% or maybe a 3%. So what do we got? In a 30 million country, then you go up to 600,000 at a 2%, and you go up to 900,000 at a 3%. So that's what you decide. But along the way, the one thing to keep in mind is that these audiences, all of them are top of the funnel audiences. Usually, the way that Facebook advertising works is that you want to position a message in front of people, maybe with no call to action, or maybe with a soft call to action. And the hard selling happens afterwards on that second contact, third contact, fourth contact, etc. The most common reason for failure in Facebook advertising right now is people that are trying to sell without providing value first. If they don't provide value first, people immediately see them as sleazeballs that are trying to get something from them. They're conditioned to not believe anything out there that has not done anything to provide value first, to educate, or do a good job of positioning themselves as somebody that knows what they're talking about, or somebody that is connected with the brand overall and really, really believes in their business overall. The way you do that is through creating audiences with video watchers, engagement, campaigns to create some attention towards your business, or send people to your website so they can see your blogs, your videos, etc. on your websites. If you do that, you're going to start building audiences, and audiences that now you can retarget, and now you can build lookalike audiences from these audiences that you did a good job of building along the way. That is the strategy in the social media game. And the good thing is that it's so affordable, especially in some countries in the world.